It is 3 a.m. Charleston Harbor, South Carolina, May 13th, 1862. A 23-year-old man puts on a captain's hat and walks to the helm of a Confederate warship. He has memorized every signal, every checkpoint, every whistle pattern the captain uses to move past the 5 Confederate forts guarding this harbor. He has memorized the way the captain stands, the way he folds his arms, the way he holds his body in the early morning dark so that from a distance he appears to be someone he is not. His wife is below deck. His children are below deck. 16 people are betting their lives on this one man's brilliance. When he told his wife the plan, she did not try to stop him. She said, "It is a risk, dear, but you and I and our little ones must be free. I will go, for where you die, I will die." His name was Robert Smalls, and most people have never heard it. That ends today. Robert Smalls was born on April 5th, 1839 in Beaufort, South Carolina. From the time he was a young boy, his mother made sure he understood the full reality of the world around him. She showed him what life looked like for people who had no power and no voice. It shaped everything that followed. When Robert was 12 years old, he was sent to Charleston, the largest port city in the South, to work. He worked as a waiter, a lamplighter, a rigger, a sailor. And in Charleston Harbor, Robert Smalls became one of the finest maritime navigators on the entire southeastern coast. He studied everything, every current, every sandbar, every channel, every signal, every location of the underwater mines his own hands had helped place in the harbor. He filed all of it away, and he waited for his moment. In 1856, Robert married Hannah Jones. They had 2 children together, and Robert made his wife a promise. He was going to get them free. He had saved $100 toward the $800 her owner demanded to purchase her freedom. $700 still to go. At the rate he was allowed to keep his own wages, it would have taken decades. And then the Civil War began. Robert Smalls realized he was not going to buy his way out. He was going to sail his way out. In the fall of 1861, Robert Smalls was assigned to the CSS Planter, a 147-foot Confederate sidewheel steamship that carried troops, supplies, and ammunition along the South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida coasts. The Planter had 3 white officers. And then there was Robert Smalls, the man who actually ran the ship. Despite being the most skilled navigator on board, he was never given the title of pilot. They called him the wheelman, but they trusted him completely, trusted him enough to leave the vessel in his hands overnight while they went home to their families. On the night of May 12th, 1862, the captain and his officers left the ship. Robert Smalls had been waiting for this moment for months. He gathered the crew members he trusted and laid out the plan. They would take the Planter, pick up their families waiting at a nearby wharf, sail past 5 Confederate checkpoints, giving the correct whistle signals at each one, replace the Confederate flag with a white bed sheet once they cleared the range of the cannons, and deliver the ship and every weapon on board to the Union blockade fleet 7 miles away in the outer harbor. Freedom or capture. There was no middle ground. Robert Smalls had spent months studying Captain Relia, the way the captain stood, the way he held his arms, the way he carried himself on deck. Robert Smalls was the same height as Relia, in the dark, in the captain's uniform and hat, with every mannerism rehearsed to perfection. From a distance, he would be close enough. At 3 a.m. on May 13th, the boiler fires were lit. The Planter eased away from the wharf. Robert Smalls stood at the helm in the captain's uniform and straw hat, arms folded exactly as practiced, guiding a Confederate warship through one of the most heavily guarded harbors in the country. Their first stop, a nearby wharf, to bring aboard Hannah, the children, and the families of the other crew members. 16 people total, all of them moving toward freedom before sunrise. Then, the checkpoints: Fort Johnson, Castle Pinckney, Fort Ripley, Fort Moultrie, Fort Sumter. At each one, Robert Smalls gave the correct signal. At each one, the fort waved them through. He passed Fort Sumter, where the Civil War had begun just 13 months earlier. Arms folded, moving at normal speed, giving nothing away. And then they were past the guns. He ordered full steam ahead. Hannah pulled out a white bedsheet she had kept hidden below deck. They brought down the Confederate flag and raised the white sheet in its place. As the Planter pulled alongside the U.S. onward, the Union commander came aboard and found 16 people at the helm of a Confederate warship. Robert Smalls looked at him and said, "I thought this ship might be of some use to Uncle Abe."